Hello you little scrappers, I'm Jonathan, also known as the PC Genie. Today we're going to be talking about parrying of the flat and parrying of the edge. Now, it was prompted by a video by someone I do quite appreciate. It was recently by someone called Lindybeige. Now, I'll admit, there is valid debate in terms of the advantages and disadvantages of parrying on the edge or parrying on the flat. But the whole thing has become a bit sort of redundant and almost political, where you've got the good guys and the bad guys, or whatever type of idea goes through people's minds. I'm gonna give you a little summary at the front, right to start with, but I'll explain more in detail in a moment. Parrying of the flat and parrying of the edge are both valid, but for different reasons. Now, I mean, I'm not angry at Lindybeige. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm just being a bit of a scavenger. I'm being the sort of person who's capitalising because I know how you humans work. You like trendy things, and now I see it's finally trendy, so we can talk about it, finally. So anyway, with regards to parrying of the edge and parrying of the flat, a few reasons why they can be valid. Now, when you parry with the edge, now if you're imagining with a sharp sword, this is just my Genie blunt one. Parrying of the edge, you've got a bit of bite. So you can feel the pressure that a person puts in, and then you can have an idea of a person sort of almost retracting away because maybe they're having second thoughts about the engagement. Maybe you can feel they're pressing, so you can maybe disengage, catch another end. I already taught some techniques when I was with my best friend Ryan. Those, as I say, that helps. So, firstly, there's the fact that you can feel the pressure in a bind with the edge. Also, there's the fact that obviously, when those edges start to dent in and lock together and bite, they're more likely to stay. So if I want to specifically do some technique that requires keeping the opponent's weapon in place, I know it's there. So I do something like go along using equivalents to keep me safe, and then stab them in the face. Then it helps to parry at the edge. Or even, I bind, and then I think, I know, I'll take a risk of my fingers for a good neck cut. I'll grab his blade and chop out! Ha ha! Cut your neck off. Or something like that. So that is the sort of scenario where it's good to bind with the edge. Now yes, the points are valid. You will damage the edge. And that can of course mean that your sword's less effective in combat. In special circumstances, if you're using a lot of force against a lot of force with that car crash effect happening, indeed the swords can end up being quite badly damaged, or even, especially in ones of a hard temper, snap. It's a real risk. But lawyers already put up several valid reasons along those sorts of lines why it's fine to, why it is realistic to parry with the edge. But he then goes around saying that almost like, what are the reasons that I'd parry at the flat? I can't think of any. Let me help you. So, with the flat, there are reasons why you'd want to parry with that instead. Now, I just mentioned, of course, when you bind at the edge, you can lock the opponent's weapon in place. So, I do my parry, as the opponent's striking in, our swords stick together. Now for certain techniques, like the two I mentioned earlier as examples, that's good. Sometimes though, I don't want the opponent's sword to stay in place. I want to deliberately have some kind of motion. Now, this can go on forever, but let's give you another two examples. Example one. So I am doing perhaps something a bit similar to what I've seen in, I think it's in Fury's manuscripts, somewhere along those lines, where I would parry with a sloping parry, so that's going like this or like this. Something you also see in Sabre as well with their hanging guards, but also equally works with two-handed swords and one-handed swords. And then what you do is you have that parry going on, and then an opponent, especially when they're hitting really hard, that then gets absorbed by your sword, ideally along its flat, and then their sword will slide off harmlessly away from you. That's good. Of course, that can work with a bind, but maybe if they're adding pressure, then as soon as you try to go around for the cut, they might just continue through and you're dead. Not always, again, it's hypothetically, but I find I like to parry that sort of thing with a flat, so then the sword slides off harmlessly, and then go around cut. And of course, same the other way. Now, apart from that, there are also things like deflections and beats. Now, to those who don't know, beats and deflections are if an opponent's swinging out, if you just put your sword in the way, then you can have a simple parry. Their sword hits your weapon or your shield and is stopped. Now, beats and deflections are if an opponent swings at you and you might deliberately use force to have them go BAM! Slam their sword to the ground and then shwa! Gotcha! That sort of thing. So it's that idea that you deliberately are hitting the opponent's weapon, they're going towards you, and you deliberately bounce it away, perhaps even pulling it all the way to the floor, or at least far away from them, so they're over here somewhere, flailing off into the sunset, and you can go kill them afterwards. A deflection is the opposite. So an opponent can be swinging towards you, and then you might want to go, or even, so then they're swinging towards you, and then you deliberately bounce it and carry it along further in the same direction. They might be aiming just to go chop, but then suddenly you've made them go wah! That's an exaggeration, but you get the point. Now, again, these sorts of things with the beats and deflections, it depends on the individual circumstances. Sometimes you might want to use the edge to beat them down, especially if you want to bind with them while they're on the floor. Maybe step on their blade and then use a cut. That's something you can do, but you've got that springing effect and you're deliberately detaching your sword so it doesn't bind with a beat. So you can go, they're swinging towards you and you're using your own weapon and bah! Or even so you're doing that, and it can work differently, and of course with advantages and disadvantages to each, with the flat instead of the edge. And same with a deflection. I might want to, I'll admit, I personally parry more with the edge, but I also parry with the flat when it's useful. So an opponent comes towards me, and I might want to catch up behind their sword as it's swinging in and get out of range, and carry it along with a bind. So there's their sword, keeping it in place, and then cha! Gotcha! However, I could think, actually, that's not what I want to do. I want to have their sword go boing away. So I go, their sword comes along, and I go, slap it deliberately just with that sort of motion. And look at that! Instead of binding like this, and then having to turn in chop, if I go like that, my sword is already in line to cut you up. So there's, again, there are advantages and disadvantages. More binding and power in that deflection, and then maybe follow up. Or, if I'm confident enough, I can just beat them away with the flat and not need to turn. I'm already in line, I just extend. Oh, there you are. So those are just a couple of ideas. I mean, really, in the world of swordsmanship, there are way too many things that you can do, and many of which involve parrying a weapon, or beating it, or deflecting it, or doing probably other things that I haven't even thought of, using the edge of the sword, or using the flat of the sword. Excuse me. So, that should hopefully summarise to you why it's good to both look into edge parries and flat parries. And personally, between me and you, I would say that the best thing to do is not to say, this one's better, or this one's better. How about trying both? I'll admit, like I said, I edge parry too much. But I have found when I have done things like deflection, just simple parries, and force myself in sparring and practice not to just habitually use the edge, but use the flat instead at the right moment, I've been able to diversify. And that's my thing to you today. I think it's stupid how people restrict themselves by saying, no, you know, flat of my strong, and all that nonsense. Or a person saying, oh no, edge parry, edge parry, edge parry. Do them both. The more you diversify, the better a swordsman you will be. See you later.